Hey, what's going on, guys? Ben Brewster here at Shred Athletics. This is the single arm push-up progression for pitchers. So wanted to mix it up a little bit today and give you guys more of kind of a strength focused tidbit. So while push-ups are great exercise, dumbbell bench, like different types of pressing exercises are great for pitchers. Obviously training the kind of main accelerators of the upper half, super important, right? But something that is kind of underappreciated is the one arm push-up. And so this is a little bit more of an advanced progression, but we have ways to, again, scale it up or down depending on what level you are. So while mastering a bodyweight push-up is obviously kind of the first priority, first step, once you can do about 20 good form floor bodyweight push-ups, that's around the time when I would recommend starting to add in some more unilateral pressing. And if you're going to, then the one-arm push-up is a great option. So some other benefits to the one-arm push-up that you're not going to get from a regular push-up and unilateral pressing in general. One is that there's kind of a core instability piece of it. So now there's an inherent instability. We need to be able to deal with those rotary forces through our core, through our pelvis, through the rest of our body. Second, obviously pitching is a unilateral activity, so it's not taking place bilaterally with this perfect closed chain stability environment. So it's more specific from that standpoint. And then finally, there's also kind of an added range of motion benefit as well. So as you come to the bottom of the push-up, there actually ends up being a little bit of a rotary motion that happens. So on the way up, you actually end up rotating into the arm that you're working, and you actually get a better finished contraction through your chest. And on the way down, you end up rotating a little bit away from that arm. And so you actually find that you work the pecs through a more full range of motion on a single arm push-up versus on just a standard push-up, a barbell bench press, a dumbbell bench press, even, because there's that rotational component to it as well. And the final thing, there's minimal equipment required for a lot of these. So if you're at the field or you don't have a ton of time, or you're in a hotel, have to do something, the one-arm push-up is just a very versatile way to progress any sort of upper body workout beyond just regular push-ups. So here's the progression as we tend to use it with our athletes. The first is to do single arm bar push-ups. So you might start with a bar in a squat rack, roughly waist height. If you need to be a little bit higher than that, you can, but most athletes that can do 20 push-ups on the floor will be able to do a single arm push-up around waist height. And so from here, some basic cues are keep the feet wide, try to keep the center of the body, the pelvis level and stable the whole time, and make sure that you get that elbow off the chest. So I did these improperly way back when I first started learning these, where I would try to keep the elbow pinned to the chest, and I was just dumping into the front of my shoulder and just getting that scapular anterior tilt, humeral anterior glide, where I was just pretty much dumping into the front of my shoulder, and that was taking on all the stress. So make sure you get the elbow off the side a little bit and you feel the pec working. And this goes for all these progressions. This goes for push-ups in general. This goes for pressing in general. Get the elbow off the side and make sure that you can feel a good stretch and lengthening contraction on the bottom and a good pec contraction at the top. That's ultimately what we're going for. What I like about the bar push-up, as with teaching someone how to do a regular push-up on the floor, every single week or every single workout that you do these, we can lower the bar by one pin or one hole on the squat rack that you have. So maybe we start off waist height, the next week we're down an inch, the next week we're an inch lower, the next week we're an inch lower. The next week maybe we can't go an inch lower, but we can go a couple extra reps. So we can progress it very easily and very methodically with the actual height of the bar. You're gonna find that you get to a point where the core instability becomes the limiting factor and it's no longer an upper half strength limit. This might be somewhere around mid-thigh or somewhere around knee height. When you get to that point where it becomes way more of an instability challenge than an upper half challenge, then what I want you to do is basically stay just above that point, and we're going to add a little bit of band resistance. So you can wrap a band around your upper back, again, overload just the upper half portion. So your core stability piece, we're at the height where you can just barely maintain that, and we're continuing to overload the upper half from there. So band bar push-ups, single arm bar push-ups are a progression from there. Once you're getting pretty good at those, let's say you can do about 10 of these with a light to moderate band around knee height or just above knee height, it starts to be time to begin incorporating assisted floor single arm push-up variations. So there's a couple ways to do the assisted push-up. The first way is to literally set up a band around waist height in a squat rack. I recommend starting with kind of a moderate band, and then again, we can lower the band resistance over time as you get stronger with this. And we're just gonna have that band right below the armpit level, and we're gonna go ahead and do that single arm push-up. The band is gonna give us more help as we get lower to the bottom, as we get to that weak point, and the band's gonna give us a little bit less help as we get towards the top part of that push-up. So you can progress it that way. The other way to do it, if you don't have a squat rack, a band, you're doing it kind of somewhere without as much equipment, or just another good way in general, is to do a assisted single arm push-up where you actually use the offhand on a box or the offhand on the ground to give you just enough assistance to help you get the rep. So what I'll do to kind of limit the off arm helping me is that I might use a 3-finger setup, or I might use then a 2-finger setup, or I might just use 1 finger to give me just that 10, 15 pounds, whatever I need to help me on the way up. So again, a good way to work this, once you can do 5, 10 of those, and you want to start progressing to the full floor single arm push-up, again, it's pretty advanced. So most guys will stay on these kind of regressions for a long time. Once you can do it from the floor, the way that I would start is actually doing slow eccentrics. So maybe you can't just bust out a set of 10 single arm floor push-ups, but you can do sets of 3 to 5 where you lower yourself down slowly, all the way under control, lift yourself back up with both arms, and again, go through several reps and several sets of slow eccentrics. And then finally, once you can do that for sets of 5, sets of 6, something like that, we can again progress to full single arm floor push-ups, which I think are kind of a gold standard once you've built up the strength to be able to do those. Just a fantastic single arm upper body movement for pitchers, huge core involvement, full range of motion through the chest, and you can do them anywhere. Give that a try. Let us know if you have any questions down in the comments. And again, make sure you follow a smart loading progression when going through these. Don't just jump in and start cranking out sets to failure with bad form single arm push-ups. That's not the point of this video. I just wanted to kind of highlight an underappreciated and underutilized upper body move that I think a lot of pitchers can benefit from going into this off season, especially if you have more of a strength focus in your training. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.